Hey everyone, welcome back to Alpha Insights. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Nate. Great to have you with us today. And hey, if you have questions while you're listening, drop them at stockalpha.ai.
All right, quick teaser. The hyperscalers have built these insanely powerful AI machines, but there's a real supply bottleneck nobody's talking about enough: the photonics layer. Today we're unpacking a $400 million financing and a customer tie-up that together make a pretty loud statement.
Totally. So, the real question here is that capital a vote of confidence or just another cash bridge? And what does it mean for the industry building the plumbing of AI?
Let's start with the financing itself. The company raised $400 million in a registered direct offering to a single institutional buyer at a small premium to the market. And that buyer also got warrants. The structural details matter. Non-brokered, single buyer, premium. It's not the classic desperate dilution move.
Right. Premium pricing and a single institutional investor basically says that someone big took a big, concentrated bet on the company's roadmap. That's different from a scattershot emergency fundraise.
And then layered onto that was a commercial signal the day before. A startup called LumaLens placed an initial purchase order for optical engines, $50 million to start, with a framework that could scale to more than $500 million over several years.
That's the neat part. LumiLens didn't just sign a press release. They accepted a warrant structure where they earn equity as they actually pay for product. So the customer's upside is tied to real deliveries, not just hopeful announcements.
Exactly. So you get two things at once: an institutional investor willing to write a big check now, and a venture-backed customer who's promising real orders in the future, with equity that vests as they buy. That alignment is unusual and meaningful. Okay, why does this matter to the whole AI stack? Let's back up. The big cloud players and merchant cloud providers are pushing GPU counts into the hundreds of thousands per cluster. The old copper and pluggable optical approach starts to break down. Power, density, and reliability all become problems.
I mean, when you look at it simply, photons move data without the same power penalty that electrical traces have. The industry's shift is toward putting optics closer to the silicon, near package, then co-packaged optics, to slash power per bit and make bandwidth scale with GPU growth.
And the performance gains are dramatic on paper. Vendors have reported multiple times reductions in power use compared with pluggable modules. For example, some switch designs show roughly a 3.5 times improvement, and other lab tests claim about a 65% power reduction versus pluggable equivalents.
Honestly, I was a bit surprised by how many moving parts are already in motion. Everyone from switch makers to packaging houses is repositioning for co-packaged optics. You've got big investments, capacity expansions, and acquisitions across the ecosystem.
Right. Companies are expanding indium phosphide capacity. Some hyperscale players are investing directly in suppliers, and there's an expected explosion in demand for high-speed optical modules. Analysts project the silicon photonics addressable market in the billions of dollars over the next few years.
Short reaction. Interesting.
So what does $400 million buy this company? It's explicitly earmarked for manufacturing expansion, research and development, operations, possible acquisitions, and working capital. Those are the exact line items you'd expect if you're trying to scale wafer-level photonics production.
The manufacturing piece is the gating factor. The pitch is wafer-level, active alignment-free production. In other words, semiconductor process discipline replacing labor-intensive optical assembly. If they can actually ship at scale, that's what converts small purchase orders into large, recurring revenues.
And the acquisition optionality matters too. There's a consolidation wave underway. With $400 million of fresh capital plus prior raises, the company now has the optionality to buy complementary tech rather than be bought out or priced off a distressed balance sheet.
But we have to be clear about the risks. The company's trailing revenue is tiny, roughly $1,100,000 over the last 12 months. The LumiLens orders are conditional on successful development, qualification, and scaling of manufacturing. Those are non-trivial execution hurdles.
There's also the dilution story. Warrant overhangs from this financing and prior financings are real, and skeptics have active short theses. On conventional metrics, the stock looks expensive. because you're pricing in a manufacturing ramp before it's happened.
Yeah, that's a good point. Still, the bull case isn't about conventional multiples. It's about the probability that this company moves from a $1 million revenue science project into a strategic supplier delivering hundreds of millions in revenue within a few years.
At the end of the day, the hyperscalers have the GPUs and the compute, the chassis, as folks like to say. And what they're missing at scale is the photonic fuel system. This financing, plus the Lumilens-style alignment, buys the company a real shot at being a supplier for that fuel.
Key takeaways?
1. $400 million from a single institutional buyer at a premium is a strong signaling event, not a desperate lifeline.
2. The Lumilens purchase order and the way equity vests with payments shows commercial alignment. Customers are staking their success on actual deliveries.
3. Execution risk is real. Tiny current revenue, conditional orders, and dilution concerns. But if manufacturing scale happens, the market they address is enormous.
And a final note, this is informational analysis, not investment advice. Analysts note the range of outcomes here, and momentum indicates both big upside and real execution risk.
All right, that's our take. If you want to dig deeper or ask something specific, head over to stockalpha.ai. We'll answer questions live, and we love reader mail. And while you're there, check out more market content.
Got questions? We'd love to hear from you. Go to stockalpha.ai, where you can ask us anything and we'll answer live. Thanks for listening.